that not the book where the only POC character is a...
Alright, darkies, let's talk about representation since another artist done fuzzed it up. And it's not the person I stitched, it's actually the person they're talking about in that review. I'm not going to tag the original author because I don't want to give him the credit because apparently this shit's the fucking dirt. So I write manga with women characters. I write manga with black women characters. As you can see, as voluptuous as I am, I'm not a woman. Folks, writing people outside of your demographic is not fucking hard. It requires just a smidgen of effort, just a momentary read of, hey, Google, what are some stereotypes I should avoid when writing this type of character? And they're going to give you a list of traditional stereotypes, both bad and good. Using stereotypes is not inherently a bad thing. It depends, like everything with writing, on your execution. But a good rule of thumb is if you are going to have only one type of character or one type of profession and it is a negative stereotype, you're kind of in SOS. Let's use my manga, The Devil's Deal, as an example. So far, there are two black characters, Selma and her mother, Ira. And guess what? Ira is a sex worker. For anyone who knows anything about series, Ira's just an awful human being in general, but she is the only sex worker right now, which is a very bad portrayal of the sex working industry because of how evil and toxic she is. However, in order to counteract this, later on, we are going to meet sex workers. And while I am not going to promote sex work, I am going to showcase that people in the sex work industry are not all like Ira, that some of them are just trying to live lives, that they are good people. For whatever reason, they ended up in this industry. And to ensure that I am doing this properly, guess what, folks? I am talking to actual sex workers, not, the e-girls, but actual people who do sex work. Because it is important not to stigmatize an already stigmatized career field or group of people. Like another example, if Ira was the only black person here in this series, this would be a god-awful example of black representation and black women representation. But Selma is here to offset that approach and showing that because she's the main character, that because she is a good person, it helps offset this so you are not playing into a single stereotype. And of course, as the story goes on, we're going to get to meet more black people. They'll be, on the moral spectrum of wherever I need. Some will be villains, some will be heroes, some will just be normal, neutral people. But if you're going to use the token character of whatever demographic, please, dear God, do not make them the bad person. Do not showcase them in a bad light, because that is negative and harmful stereotyping. If you're gonna use somebody outside the demographic, make sure you have somebody on the opposite side. That's the basics. But as always, folks, don't judge my advice because I got a sweet, silky voice. Judge it on my execution. Get a copy.